So I think I'm gonna talk a little bit about my experience in Oklahoma City while I make some food. I have oranges, so I have orange peels, and I think I'm gonna actually like cut them up and make them into orange peel candy. So yeah, join me while I do that and I talk a little bit about Oklahoma City. So I'm just doing a small batch today because I only have 2 oranges. I just thought it'd be fun. I haven't cooked all this week. I've been working a lot and doing a lot for my job. So it's kind of nice to do something a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, I've been working a lot. I don't have a vacation day available yet. So we're also looking into maybe buying a house or looking for a rental if we don't find something that we like. It's early spring, so we have time, but I'm really desperate to kind of get out of apartments. I'm so tired of like living in an apartment. So you can see my kitchen is kind of a mess. We're gonna make the best of it though. Got stuff everywhere. That's what happens when you have a family. So we're gonna just deal. So yeah, about Oklahoma City. It was kind of a small town. I enjoyed it there. I did not expect it to be as small, but it was cool. We had fun. I'm gonna start cutting these oranges out. It was the kind of place where I had been before, but it had been years, so it was kind of good to just go there, kind of see what was up, what they were doing brand new to the city and all that, and that was really fun. So I'm gonna take these oranges, I'm gonna wash them up quite a bit, because if you don't know, when you're cooking anything of a peel, you have to be very careful about how you cook it, because pesticides can get on it and it can make it unsafe to eat. So you have to really wash your oranges really well. So I'm going to take them to the sink. I'm gonna put them with just some hot soapy water and I'm gonna scrub them for about a minute. Now what you're wanting in your oranges is for them to have oil. The orange peel has a lot of great oil, which provides the flavor. You don't want to get rid of that, but you do need to wash them pretty heavily to make sure that they're gonna be the highest quality for your candy. So you gotta do that. And I know my kitchen is very disgusting right now. I know, people are gonna tell me that. Sorry, I got a whole family to feed. So, but that's the reality of being a parent, to be honest with you. Like, all this stuff online about parents, having this perfect life is not reality. I'm here to tell you, I'm going to be filming my own personal life, not some sort of scripted, weird, kind of like curated life that I don't actually live. That's another thing, I need to go buy hand soap, or just soap. I don't know. I just wanted to make something good, and I thought this would be really fun because I've never done this before. So here we are. So you're gonna wash them up. You wanna make sure that they're clean. And then let's go ahead and chop them. So I personally am gonna use a paring knife because I wanna be very exact with this. I will show you how I've chopped them once I'm done. So the whole point of this is obviously to maintain the skin as much as possible. So, oh my gosh, they smell so good. So you want to chop them. I'm scoring them into kind of like smaller sections carefully, so they're easier to peel. I don't know that there's a better way to do this. I have read online that people tend to be very careful about how they peel these. So I'm just gonna try to follow that. I scored them. And now, having cut it in half, with the idea of maintaining the peel, you want to get the orange part of the peel. You don't necessarily want to get the white part here as much. That's called the pith. It is something that has taste to it, but it is not a sweet taste, so it's kind of not the best for your candy. It's going to be the bitter part of the peel. So I'm just going to, I kind of scored it, and now I'm just going to go around and try to get most of it off. And again, you got to be gracious with yourself. You're not going to get all of it. Try to get most of it off. Go slow. So in Oklahoma City, what I thought was the most interesting is it still feels like quite a small town. It's kind of a big city for Oklahoma. You know, they've obviously got a good amount of people there. I don't know how many, like, I don't know what the population is, but it feels like they have a decent population. There were a lot of businesses there. What I loved was the amount of independent businesses. And see, if you look at it here, you can see that I have preserved the orange itself. So I'm thinking I could eat this. If you wanted to, you could turn it into orange juice. And here's the peel that I've gotten off of it. So it's as close to perfect as I could probably get it. We still have a lot of the pith in here. So I'm gonna attempt to get that off. I'm not an expert at it, but I'm gonna do my best. What I'm thinking is of just taking this paring knife, which again is the tool to use for this, in my opinion, and just try to scrape some of it off. I might try that later. I think the easiest way to do it is to slice it into strips and then to do that. So I'm gonna try that. We'll give that a second. But for now, we'll do the second one. So I just scored a little bit here. And I kind of try to score around the edge just so that there's enough of a place for my fingers to kind of get in there. And I carefully peel, and as I'm peeling, when I notice that there's resistance, I kind of get my knife in there. You want to be very careful about how you do this. It could be dangerous, so you want to make sure you're going slow. You need to make sure that you're doing this with adult supervision if you're a kid, because it is fun, but you got to be careful because you could slice your hand pretty badly. So proceed with caution. That's what I say. So once you get your hand in there, you can kind of just make your way through there. And there we go. But yeah, it was refreshing to be there. And what I really liked most was just the fact that people were really welcoming. It felt like a small town. We went to Toby Keith's restaurant called I Love This Bar, which, if you know Toby Keith, he was a famous country musician in the United States. He recently passed away, but it was one of the first restaurants we saw along the highway. We just thought it'd be fun, so we went in. It was fun. The atmosphere was fun. The food was like typical bar food, you know, if you enjoy that. The one thing that I got was chili. I love chili. I firmly believe that country artists should know how to make chili if they're going to open a bar and have it on their menu. The chili was good, but I'm going to be honest with you and say that it did taste like it was out of a Wolf can chili can. It was good. So Wolf chili is good, but for the amount of money I paid, I think it was like $15. I was hoping it would be more authentic. But, you know, celebrity restaurants can be like that. No shame. But what was cool was, you know, like the atmosphere of the place. That was really fun. Like they had all sorts of like memorabilia, like they had photos, they had autographs, they had his guitars everywhere. They had a saddle over the bar, things like that. So that was cool. There you go. That one's a lot better. Look at that one. I'm getting better at it. So that was fun. And then, yeah, we did that. We drove around a bit. I had been to the Oklahoma City bombing memorial before. My husband had not. So we went to that and we walked around. That site is for me, it's very sensitive because it was terrible what happened there. It's very impactful to go see things like that. It reminds me personally of why we really just need to value people, and like how we need to prioritize what we do in our lives and things like that, because I'm sure nobody thought that day that they were going to have to deal with that. So that was important to me. And also when I was growing up, that was the first time I had ever seen anything like that. I remember being, I think I was like 13 or so when we went the first time. So now anyway, I am going to get a pot and set some boiling water. So we've got our pot right here. Gonna set it to boil, and then when it's boiling, I will be right back with that. But yeah, I mean, I got the chili, and then my son got the chicken tenders. Can't complain about that, right? He loved it. And then my husband said his food was good too. The one thing I really enjoyed, so part of the chili was that it had a side dish, right? And so I got a Caesar salad, and what I loved about that was that they used cornbread as like the croutons, and I thought it was really good, and that was my favorite part of the whole thing. I loved the cornbread part of it. I was pretty happy with the quality of the food. Like, the food came out hot and good, but you know, just for me, I just thought it would be, for the price that it was, I just had hopes that it would be a little bit more ingenuitive, maybe. Like, I guess that's the word I would use. But I don't think people that are going there are looking for this like gourmet experience. So that's just maybe a me thing. I'm a perfectionist. I'm slicing up these orange peels. I'm not going to do it in a particular fashion. I just want them to be maybe like that size. This is just really, for me, a way to use these orange peels, because these oranges otherwise are going to go bad. So, you know, I had them left over. My son can eat the oranges for dinner tonight, and then I can have the peel. Although he kind of likes peel too, so maybe I'll give him some to try. He might be into it, he might not be into it. We'll see. I think that I'm embracing this part of life where I just want to, I want to make my own food. I want to be a little bit more self-sustaining. I love going to places like McDonald's. I love going to places like the grocery store. That's not the problem. But the problem for me is I just want a little bit more freedom. And I feel like learning things like cooking your own candy and like making recipes on your own with your own food from your own garden, I feel like that's stuff that I'm kind of valuing a little bit more at my point in life. And I know a lot of people feel the same. But I'm learning, just like anybody else is. It's a good place to kind of figure things out in your 30s. Like, I'm not 30 yet, but I'm approaching that age. And yeah, my energy is a little different now. I think that, like, it can only be a positive thing to kind of realize that you're in a different space in life than maybe you were before. So, I know when I was going through school, now I cook for a living. But when I was going through school, I got a degree in environmental science. I still really value the ideals that come with that, you know. I may not work in that field anymore, but I do feel that everything connects. I wish we had spent a little more time in Oklahoma City, because I felt like we didn't get to really do as much there besides go eat. We kind of just ate and then went to the memorial, and that was our day, which was fun. But it'd be cool to like see more of it. I really enjoy traveling. Like, traveling has been something that I've done for years, and I get great joy out of it. So I would like to do that more. One important thing I could say about this recipe, it seems really simple, right? And it is, because all it is just 2 ingredients, really. It's these peels, and then it's, you know, sugar, and that's pretty much it. One thing I'll say is the simplicity of it makes it seem like it's super easy, but one thing you got to make sure you have is a very sharp knife when you do it, because the pith that's on this orange, you can see it's pretty thick, and you've got to get the majority of it off. This is what you want. So to do that, you've got to use your paring knife and slowly go through the pith, and you got to be careful doing that, because you could hurt your hand doing it. So you just go slow, no rush, and have good control of your knife, and have a sharp knife. You know, a lot of people think like, oh, cooking, like I'm not really into it. It seems like it has a lot of effort and all this. Well, I've always found that the more effort that you put into cooking, the more you enjoy eating it. And the food, when you cook it yourself, tastes so much better. For me, it's become a sense of joy to just do it myself. One thing I do a lot of is canning as well. So I'll be posting some of that too, because it's something I have really grown to love. But these things, they take time to learn, and no one is going to be able to do it all at once. I've loved cooking for so many years, and I've practiced to kind of get good at it, and it's part of my job now. Like, my job is largely cooking. But there was a time where I was working in kind of a corporate job, doing something completely different, and cooking was more of a hobby, not really a employment thing for me. Wow, I almost just cut my hand. That's why you gotta be careful. But yeah, so we got most of this done. Oh my gosh, it smells so good in here. I wish y'all could smell the orange peel. Okay, and we got boiling water now. So now that we're finishing up, so one option for this is you could get melted chocolate, and so here's our peels, and you could cook this in the boiling water. So you're going to cook it for 15 minutes, and then you take it out, and you could maybe get that melted chocolate and dip some of it inside. So it's got to be boiling for 15 minutes. So and you want it to be in a rapid boil, so I'm going to turn it up a little bit. One other positive thing about this is it's going to make your house smell fantastic because of the orange peels. So while that's working, we're going to move on to the second part of this. So we're still kind of just going to give this 15 minutes. God, I need to clean my kitchen. And I'll probably do that while I wait on this to finish up. So 15 minutes I think is going to make this translucent. As you can see, the water is starting to develop a kind of orange color, which is cool. I bet you could use this water for a variety of things, maybe just like a light sauce eventually. But our goal is to let these completely cook through. And then in that 15-minute timeline, the water should reduce significantly here. So we're going to see how that turns out. I'm always thinking, like, there's so much I could do around here. Like, I know I've got a lot of cleaning to do. So I'm probably going to do that for a second. Okay, so I have my timer go off, so the peels are done. So what I'm going to do is scoop them out and place them on this cloth right here and dry them. So I'm gonna strain some of this liquid, get the last few out. I'm kind of placing these, I'll show you. I'm kind of placing these, kind of spreading them out a bit because I really do want to get these dry. They are super flimsy now and they're hot. I'm used to holding hot food, so I don't really mind picking them up, but you might want to do this a little more carefully. Maybe wait till they're a little cooler. But I'm just patting them dry. I'm going to do this a few times. This is the point where the area is going to start smelling like oranges a lot because the oil is going to be coming off of here. So these are great. These look wonderful. I'm really excited about this, but they're very flimsy, falling apart a bit. And so let's do the next part of this. We're going to do a half and half mixture of water and sugar, and that is to get the consistency right with the orange peels, and it's to candy them. So I'm going to do 1 cup of water, 1 cup of sugar. I'm just putting that back in the same saucepan I used. You don't have to get a new one. There's no reason to do that. So just use the same one. It'll be a 1-pan recipe. And actually, I just reread my notes. It's actually 1 cup of water, 2 cups of sugar. So you're gonna wanna pour 1 cup of water, 2 cups of sugar into the same pan that you used originally. And you're going to let it come to heat. You're gonna do a medium cook on it until it starts incorporating. And then we're gonna add in our peels in that moment. So with sugar, you always want to be careful because everything happens really quickly. We're now at the point where we are dissolved as much as we can be. So we're going to add our peels back in, and then we're going to proceed to the next steps, which mainly is increasing the temperature, and then we're going to let it boil through for about 45 minutes to an hour. Just until we get everything candy coated. So I've got those peels ready. They're very dry. Remember, that's the goal because we want the sugar to stick to it. And so I'm gonna add those in now. So we got everything in here. We're going to increase the temperature to medium-high. And we're going to let that get to a rapid boil. And that's our goal. Once it gets there, we're going to lower it a little bit and let it simmer for that hour. At this point, you just want to be really careful with it. You want to make sure you don't touch it. But it will start to look like this. It'll start to look like this. It'll start to kind of have some boiling going on. It's good to mix it around. That way that sugar gets incorporated and not stuck on the sides. Like you can see right here, it's kind of starting to get stuck. You gotta scrape that stuff off. And yeah, we're almost there. Now that we're at the end point of everything, I'm gonna get a bowl like this. And we've got our orange peels really saturated in that sugary mix now because it has evaporated some of the water. So I would say at this point it's fully at its candy stage because as you pick it up you can see there's a different texture with it. It is no longer just a peel, it is more like candy. So we're going to put some sugar in here, and then we're going to drop the orange peels in there and then toss them around so that they're coated in the sugar. That way they don't stay sticky after we take them out. So I'm going to use not a crazy amount, just, you know, a decent amount. You just don't want the contact to be something where it doesn't get coated in sugar, because if it's sticks to the bottom, it's going to be really difficult to move it about. So I'm actually going to start this process now. We're going to do a few at a time, and then we're going to put them on some parchment paper to dry. I think I'm actually going to use foil. Use foil for this, not parchment paper. Okay, here we go. We're going to do a few at a time, not too many. We want to allow the candies to have some time where they are coated. Separate them a bit, you know. Show you a bit of what this looks like. You're just kind of shaking them around, just getting them coated. They're still hot at this point, but by the time they are coated, they should be a lot cooler. I don't recommend really handling them with your hands unless you're used to that like I am. I would say some kind of glove is good for this. I would use a fork. That's another good way. But yeah, you want them to be coated about this much. And later off, we'll shake some of the excess sugar off too. Yeah, and there you are. So the more you toss these around, the more the excess sugar will come off. And yeah, pretty simple. It didn't take me that long. It was easy to do other things while I was doing this, so I really enjoyed doing that. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, thanks for joining me.